Hello, hi there, how are you doing? Welcome back to Confidence Uncut. We're going to have a very intimate, I'll say a very intimate conversation about violence in a relationship. It falls down under domestic violence, but domestic violence is such a huge topic and it's so broad. So I want to narrow it down to violence in a relationship. Hey, first thing first, let's do that first. If this is your first time, please subscribe, turn on your notification, and I always say, so you are the first to know anytime we upload any new content. So that is done. Now, let's dig into this topic. Well, should I say topic? Because it's my experience. And you guys know, I always say this, I created this channel so that I can share my experiences with you. You can also, in a way, share your experience with me, and we can all grow and become better people, educate ourselves and all that. So I would like to share this experience of mine with you so that you would know what to accept, or so you can see the red flags in a relationship when it's going to turn abusive. So I was living in Togo. I think I was about 2019, something like that, of that age. And I was dating this gentleman, and I normally don't name drop, but today I'm going to name drop. So I was dating this gentleman called Gilbert, and he was the most loving person from the beginning. He was amazing. Like I couldn't do anything wrong. Like he admired me, he loved me. Well, I thought he loved me, because if you love someone, you should not be abusive. But I hear people also going like, oh, sometimes when someone loves you too much, they become too jealous, and that is what turns into abuse. I can understand that you would care about something so much, or you would love I think you can love someone and not care about them. I think that's also possible, because you can love something that much that you don't, because you're so possessive of it, you don't even mind if you grab it, it's going to break, if that makes any sense. But if you care about something, you would mind the way you're going to hold it or the way you're going to handle it. I think you can love and not care, and then you can do both. And you can care, not love. That's also possible. But I thought at that time he loved me, because listen, he took me to the best restaurant. He did everything that I wanted in a relationship. Then about 6 months down the relationship, I remember that I wore this dress. And actually, that was the same dress I was wearing when he met me. It was like, oh, when he met me, he thought I was beautiful. That was a beautiful dress. But 6 months down the line, he was taking me out and I wore the same dress, and it was a problem. He was like, are you going to wear that out? I'm like, yes. He's like, no, you're not following me with that. Change. Okay? I went over, change. Because I thought, okay, fine, maybe it wasn't right for the occasion, whatever. But there were little red flags. Things like, who am I talking to on the phone? He would take my phone and go through it. And I'm like, okay, well, I did not see anything wrong with that, honestly, because I had nothing to hide. So why would I have a problem with him? And he doesn't take my phone and go like, oh, I'm going through your phone. He go like, oh, let me make a call. Let me use your phone to make a call, and I'll gladly, hand over my phone to him. And this went on. So, and all through this, he has not raised his hand at me yet. So it was just little things that you can't do this, you can't do this. Oh, I don't like this friend of yours. Oh, I don't like that hairstyle of yours. And yes, of course, it's okay for your partner to say, oh, this hairstyle doesn't look good on you. Because if they don't say it, who is going to say it, you know? So I didn't look at it as a controlling way. It was just him just trying to kind of let me know what he likes and what he doesn't like, things like that. And bearing in mind that I was 20 years old, I didn't know better myself. And this went on and went on. Then, okay, so he had a relationship before he met me. He had a wife, and I think they were married for like 2-3 years, something like that. And they were in the process of divorcing when I met him. And that was okay, let me just say, every time that the woman calls him, or they have some form of communication, it just war at home. Is basically, that was it. So every time the woman calls, I'm like, oh gosh, what is it going to be now? And he just goes from the nicest man to the nastiest person, or the nastiest man ever on earth. It went off from, I don't like your hair, I don't like your friends, I don't like who you're talking to, let me use your phone, blah, 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 to one particular night. I remember that we came back from the club, and I actually was like, oh my goodness, why did this happen? But we came back from the club, and I was in the shower, and then so I was in the shower, and I was like, oh, can you pass me the towel? And then he came out with a towel, threw the towel at me, and then was like, why did you talk to me like that? I'm like, okay. I was taken aback a little bit, but because I have been drinking, I was thinking that I might have said something rudely. So I was like, okay, oh, I'm sorry, darling. I didn't mean it, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So things were okay. Then the next one was a friend of mine visited me, and she was like, oh, do you want to go and eat and all that? I'm like, yeah, why not? I'm going to go. Let's go and have dinner. So and this is a female friend. We went out to dinner and I came back to the most violent person. I walked through the door. First, okay, I remember ringing the bell. He didn't open, so I opened the door because I knew he was at home, so I was just ringing the bell. So, you get to the door, sometimes you're lazy, you don't take your keys out because it's easy to ring the bell. So that's what I did. And then he opened the door, I came through, and then he was like, where did you go? And please forgive my French right now. Where the fuck did you go? Who the fuck did you go out with? And I'm like, I just went out with this person, and I received the dirtiest slap. Okay, in my nature, you would think that I'll fight back. But no, I was so shocked at the situation that I was like, oh my goodness, I was just terrified. I was so scared of him and listen, nothing against short men, nothing against, short men, but I'm taller than the person. So I'm like, oh wow, did I just receive a slap? What did I do wrong? So the first thing you're going to do is you're starting to say to yourself, what did I do wrong? Did I say something wrong? You remember about the bathroom one? I was like, oh, I might have spoken to him wrongly, blah, 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 yada, yada. Okay, so this time I'm like, oh, you know what? You're in a relationship with someone, so you shouldn't be going out with your friends out to dinner. That was what I said to myself. And I apologized because I was even shocked. But then I was like, I'm so sorry. Next time I'll make sure that I tell you that I'm going out, and I'll tell you who I'm going out with. And it's like, okay, so from now onwards, I don't want you to see you hang out with that person. We move on. Then I went to beauty school. So I ended up opening a salon. From the beginning, he was like, "Yeah, that's a good idea. It will make you work hard. You be independent. He was all for it. After opening the salon, let's say about 8 months into opening the salon, it started off like, "Oh, what time are you coming home?" I'm like, "Okay, when the last customer leaves. Okay, I'll come and pick you up." And I thought that was so nice of him. He's going to come and pick me up from work. Okay? So that went on. He would pick me up, and then he would come and sit and wait for me to finish work so that we can go home together. And all this, I thought it was romantic. Knowing that this was building up to something else. Then it went from picking me up to now staying in the salon with me. Like I'm working and he's sitting there because he can't see. He was controlling. Sometimes we see someone controlling us as love, but darling, it's not love. If somebody loves you, they should allow you to be you, and they should support you for being who you are, and they should fall in love with what you are. And you should fall vice versa is how they say it anyway. But you should love them for who they are. They should love you for who you are. Of course, we can have some negative behaviors that our partners can help us correct it. Yes, I'm all for personal growth. But when the core of who you are is not being respected, and this person is controlling every aspect of your life, what you clothe. At some point, he even told me that I was fat, so I should change the way I eat. And I did. And from the beginning, he would go like, "Oh, you need more vegetables." So he would make me the food. He would make me the greens and everything. And I'm like, "Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice." And then he went on like, "You're eating too much. You're too fat." That's how it progresses. And then goes on and on and on and on. Well, one night I came back. He picked me up from work. Well, not even picked me up from work. He literally stayed there when I opened so I had had enough till the end of the working day. I had had enough that day. So when we got home, I was like, "Well, can we have a conversation? Because this is not working out for me. You sitting in the salon waiting for me and all that, it's not working. Can we find another way of dealing with it?" It's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And every time, like when he slapped me for going out with my friend to dinner, that he apologized. "I'm so sorry. I'll never do it again. I never knew I don't know what came over me. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me." I got flowers for apology. So this one, he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll never repeat it again. So what time do you want me to pick you up from work?" I'm like, "Well, if you come after 6, that's fine." He was on good behavior for like a week. And then everything just went back to exactly what it was. I was having problems with it. So I was like, "Okay, now you promised me that you were not going to do that. You were not going to do that. So now I just want out." Oh my goodness. That was the most violent experience of my life that night. So sat him down, we were talking. I'm like, "Okay, you know what? I want this to end. I've had enough of it." And this is after so many fights, not to give you guys too much information. I just want to drive to the point of how gradually you can be sucked into a violent relationship. So these are the signals, the signs. So I'm just giving you the sign, but there's so much that went on. There's so much that went on. Gilbert was a very, very violent man. He was very violent. And this night, I wanted the relationship to be done with. Well, actually, I have broken up with him before. I left. And then he went begging my friends to talk to me to come back. And I came back. And I left again. The same thing. He was, and you know, this is the funny thing. When your friends or your family members would think that you are so stupid, why don't you want to stay with this person? This person loves you so much, blah, blah, blah. Listen, darling, don't. And it's because they act like angels to them. So they don't see what you are going through, as in how violent or how disrespectful he was to me, actually. Yeah, he was to me. No one could see that. Everybody around me thought he was an angel, including my own mother. So the third time he went to my mother, and my mother was like, listen, the guy wants to marry you, you know, he's okay to do, you know, you're coming up and all that. So just go back and, you know, he will change. He promised he will not do it again. He will change. He never did. He never did. So this night I was like, okay, enough. I'm out of here. And I don't know where the slap started coming from. He was beating me up, and he took a knife on me and went like, well, you want to leave me? I will kill you so no one would have you. And I don't know if you guys can see. Can you see that there's a scar? I don't know. I've been putting some, how do you call it, gel on it, so I don't know if you can see it. It's not that visible. It used to be quite big before. It used to be big. So he took a knife on me. He was like, I'm going to kill you, and if I can't have you, no one will have you. I don't know where the strength came from. There was a flower pot. I took it. I hit him on his head, and then so he fell. And that was how come I was able to escape from the house. And I literally left the house with I had no shoes on, the clothes I was wearing. I ran out of the house, seek refuge in a friend's house, and I had no money, nothing. My friend gave me some money, so I went back to Ghana, back to Accra. But before I went, because I know his method, or his way of acting after all his madness, I went to my mom and I said to my mom, look at this. This is what he did, and he nearly killed me. So please, when he comes, do not tell him where I'm going to. I'm going to this particular place, but please, mommy, do not tell him where I was going to. Lo and behold, like I think 2 days later, he came to my mom, to the village. Your daughter left me again. I am sorry, blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't do it again. I promise I'm never going to hit her again. We just have a little, fight, and she's just gone off. But that day wasn't a lucky day for him. He let it loose in his way of speaking, that he was saying to my mom, oh, I love your daughter so, so much. Your daughter is the best thing that happened to me. So, well, I'm going to find her and I'm going to kill her and kill myself. And my mom was like, what? He's like, oh, no, that's not what I meant. I meant like, you know, if I can't live with her, I am going to kill myself. Well, my mom did the right thing. He got him arrested. He got him arrested, and then she called me and said, listen, the guy is in town. He's looking for you. So if you have somewhere to go, go. I got him arrested in the village because this is the statement that he made. Okay, fine. So I left the place that I was living to another place, but I made a mistake. I don't know. You don't say that is a mistake. I don't know. You don't just say it's a mistake. Obviously, you do have friends, you know. You should have friends as a person. So one of my friends, oh, bless her, she's such a sweetheart. Her name is Felicia. She's been my friend for God knows. I used to live in her house. And he knew this, that I used to live with Felicia. So what did he do? He called Felicia out because Felicia doesn't know anything. And this is another thing. Please tell people what you're going through. Tell your friends what you're going through. Because then if I would have told Felicia this is the kind of relationship that I was in. He was beating me up and all that. He couldn't have lied to Felicia that, he's looking for me and I'm not responding to his phone calls and things like that. For Felicia to just go like, oh, okay, she is here. If Felicia knew the backstory of how he treated me and all this, I don't think Felicia would have told him where I was. And after date, actually, Felicia always go like, oh, I was so sorry. I'm so sorry that I told him where you were. After she got to know the rest of the story, she was like, I'm so sorry. And up to date, she actually beat herself up about it, that she felt like she led someone to come and abuse me. And no, Felicia, you didn't, because you didn't know the story. You didn't know the backstory. And another thing is that sometimes we're embarrassed. I was embarrassed that I was in a relationship that I was being beaten, and everybody else from the outside saw it as the best thing that could have ever happened to me. To end it all, please see the red flags. The red flags are things that you used to do that he loved, or all of a sudden turns into things that he hates. That is a red flag. Another red flag is when somebody becomes overly possessive and controlling. That is a red flag. Now, straighten it out. You are the only person that can allow someone to treat you the way they treat you. So if you don't want to be treated violently, once you see, I understand that it's slowly, and then it becomes a big thing. Yes, that's how it happened to me. But as a survivor, you can see the red flags and be bold. I know it's a difficult thing to do because I couldn't do it. But you can talk to someone, talk to a friend, talk to your mother, talk to someone, and seek advice so that you can protect yourself. I'm just lucky that that day there was a flower pot handy. I owe my life to that flower pot. If it wasn't for that flower pot, maybe he would have killed me. Maybe he would have. Oh wow, I can't believe I'm sharing all this. This Confidence Uncut, Unfiltered, we have to check again. Maybe we have to take the unfiltered part out so that I can filter some of my life experiences. But I hope you're enjoying it and you are learning from it. It's important to learn from experiences. And if anyone out there, you're going through anything, any kind of problems like relationship violence in a relationship and all that, put your comment down below. I will answer you. I will help you through it. Just let me know how I can help. From my experiences, you never know that I could be the one that breaks through to you. So comment down below. Let's be each other's keeper. So leave your stories. I would read them. And I do have this section also in that I do on the Confidence Uncut, which is you can send in your problems, your dilemmas, and I'll read them and I'll give you my unfiltered experience or advice to it. So don't sign over your right of who you are to no one. No one has the right to touch you. No one has the right to speak to you in a disrespectful manner. And you are the only one that can give that power, because I gave that power to him. I allowed it to happen. So don't do that. So don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and subscribe here, all with Confidence with a K. So it's Confidence Uncut with a K. Let's be each other's keeper. Stay blessed and stay beautiful. Bye-bye.